Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Michaels.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do one pattern. Now there are two different presentations for it. These are both exactly the same pattern, and this is called the Stacking Blocks Crochet Blanket. Let me tell you a little bit about this and then we're going to dive into the pattern and get you started today. So on screen there are two pictures. They're exactly the same blanket. So what we have here is Cherry Compote and this one is Pistachio Macaroon, and they're both featuring the Caron Big Cakes. The wonderful thing about the big cakes, it only takes 3 balls in order to do that. That's how big these cakes are. This is a very easy to remember pattern, so once we get you started in the center of it, you just grow it out like a granny square, but it has a really neat concept to it and it is just really quite fabulous. Now you'll see that there's color changes that you see. That's coming right out of the ball itself, so you don't have to worry about changing colors in order to get it. Just hook your way through the ball and then just keep adding your extra balls as you be able to get all the way around. Now as I mentioned, it only takes 3 balls of Caron Big Cakes, and this yarn goes a very long way and I think you'll be very happy with it. So let me show you the yarn that we're gonna be playing with today. So on screen now is the Caron Big Cakes, and you can see that they're quite fabulous and it's like Caron Cake concept, but they're much bigger and they're 100% acrylic. Let's lean these down here. So this one here is the Pistachio Macaroon. This is what the one sample is done in, and this one here is the Cherry Compote, and this is really quite fabulous. You can see the colors work out and it just goes a very long way. So it's nicely tightly compacted within the ball here, and you can see the presentation of all the different colors that you're gonna be able to explore as you're being able to work on this project. So of course I have to do my homework, and I did a mini sample here to make sure that I understood the pattern, and I've done this kind of pattern before in the past. We have another pattern that's very similar to this. So what it has is that we start off in the center and we work our way around in a circle, but it's not just like a circle or a regular square. It's all about the points, and it reminds me a lot of corner to corner. So what we have to do is we do a revolution and then we slip stitch ourselves out, and then we do another revolution and so on. So then you end up with the color transitions that look absolutely amazing as it works its way out to the outside of the particular project. So it's a really neat concept. There is also a crochet diagram and I'm gonna take you through that next. So here's a copy of the diagram, and what we're going to do is just start off with a circle. We're gonna chain 6 and then we're going to put in our single crochets. Then what we're going to do is that you're just gonna continue with the same yarn, and you are going to build up. Look, so you'll chain up 4, and then in the next one you'll come down and you'll put in a treble. The next one is a treble, and then you chain 4, slip stitch to the next one, and then chain 4 back out, and etc. Go all the way around. So the trick to this one here is that when you go all the way around, your last stitch will be actually down here, but your next row starts up here. So the trick is that when you get all the way back to here, you're going to slip stitch your way up through this chain and then begin again. So chain up 4, and then these double crochet or trebles go into the other trebles, and then chain 4 coming back down, and you go right into the chain itself. Don't go into a gap space. Then chain 4 and then trebles right into the chains as you see, and you keep working your way around. So the trick to this one is that I want you to set up a stitch marker for you when we get started, so that you can identify where you started. The very first time I ran through this, I missed it completely, and I started going in a continuous revolution all the way around. Therefore it'll never be truly even. So I want to show you that particular concept. So as you hit and get each row, and if you look at the colors, so if you did the black here and you went all the way around, you'll notice that you'll end up here. So then in order to start the next blue one up here, you have to chain through there and then start and going all the way. Now you technically could fasten off here if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't worry about that because you end up with a lot of tail strings, and for the what it is on the pattern, you'll see that it blends in really quite nicely as well. So let's grab our hook. It's a 6mm size J crochet hook today, and you are using a Caron Big Cakes in order to play. So let's begin. So I'm going to be using an extra stitch marker here. Make sure you have one available to you. I think you'll find this quite handy. And on camera I am using Bernat Super Value here because I'm only gonna do a small sample with you today, and I don't want to waste my Caron Big Cakes on a little sample. So what I want to do is that I want to start off with the slip knot, and let's get that onto your finger and into your hook, and then let's begin. So let's begin by chaining 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And all I'm gonna do now is insert my hook into the beginning chain, and I'm going to yarn over and pull that through and through to form the center ring of my blanket. I want to take the straggler and wrap it around the ring as if it's part of the ring, and we're gonna trap it in round number 1. So round number 1 is pretty much the most critical one you can ever do because you have to make sure your counts are right off the hop. So we're going to chain up 1 and then we're going to put 12 single crochets right into this ring. So just go diving right into the middle of the ring, pull through and single crochet. And you want to do that a total of 12 times. So that was 1 and 2 and keep that straggler wrapped around the outside so you can get it stuck underneath. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And look, I'm running out of space, but because you're going in a ring, just pull the stitches and it will expose more ring for you. So that was 9 that I just did, and I'm gonna do 10, 11 and 12. And you want to slip stitch to the first one, but how do you know? So if you count from the hook right here, this one that's right here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So just slip stitch into the 12th one back from the hook if you can't identify where you started. So let's begin round number 2. So let's get started. What we're going to do right off the hop is that we're going to slip stitch to the next stitch available to you. So just slide into the next stitch available and pull through and through, and then we're going to begin round number 2 together. So now we're going to chain a total of 4, which counts as a treble. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And what I want you to do in the next two stitches that you have, I want you to treble. So you wrap that hook twice and you just go into the next stitch and pull through 2, 2 and 2. And in the beginning it feels like it's a lot of extra work, but it grows pretty quickly because you are doing trebles. So you're doing 2 trebles in a row. So now I want you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I want you to come in and slip stitch to the next chain available, or next stitch available to you. So pull through and through. So here's my tip for you. I'm just gonna pull out the loop now and leave it. I want you to grab that marker that you had, and I want you just to wrap it around the one post. So just pull through and through, and this will help you identify when you come back here. Because of the way that we're making it, it's sometimes not always the easiest, and I missed it the very first time run through that I did. So you're just attaching it there, so every time you know you see this spot, you know you've gone all the way around. So let's continue. We're going to chain 4 exactly where we are, so we just slip stitched, and 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then the next 2 are gonna be 2 trebles. Sorry, 1 treble each. So the next 2 are 1 treble each. And now you're gonna come back and you're gonna chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and slip stitch to the next one, and then you're gonna chain up 4 again. So you see it's kind of like creating a cross shape or a plus sign. So chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then treble into the next 2. And before I go any further, you're gonna think to yourself, well, that's a lot of extra spacing. Once this is done, it looks great. So you just have to trust in it, because right off the hop you're thinking it's too spacey, but it actually works out to be a very nice accent piece. So chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. And then see you got one more left, so chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you're gonna come and treble in the next 2. So what's missing? So you have to chain 4 to come back down. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you slip stitch to exactly the first one that you had started with in order to bring that back in balance. So here's the thing. When I first started this pattern, see where I am? I cannot just move up to the next round based on where I am. So I have to get myself to the top of this first section over here. So to do that, all I'm just gonna do is slip stitch my way up through this chain. So just go right into one strand of the chain and just slip stitch your way to get yourself back up there. And you wanna stop at the one prior to the treble that you're running into, and that's where we're gonna start the next round. So let's begin the next round from that point. So I'm back at the diagram and I've come all the way back around and I'm currently right here. So let me just turn this up here. So I'm currently stuck right here and I've just slip stitched myself ready to go for number 3. So this is actually really quite easy, and you're gonna chain up 4 and then you're gonna put a treble into each of the 2 trebles here and then chain 4 and come back down. But these ones, see how they're lying on their side? So what we're going to do is these ones now that are resting in between, so you're gonna see that these go out straight out, but the ones on in between, so look at it from like a quarter point of view, you see that they're leaned over to match this one. So this one here, see how they're all facing in the same direction? It starts off by leaning over. So we're gonna work our way down the chain and we're gonna start going sideways, and then we slip stitch and then we chain up 4. So the only time we really have to worry about chaining 4 to come back down is when we're actually on a peak like you see here, and only in the 4 sections. So that whole chaining 4 up and then 2 trebles and chaining 4 down only exists when it comes to these crossing points, as you see. So without further ado, let's begin round number 3. So let's begin round number 3. So we have to build ourselves out. So we're gonna chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to put in a treble in each of these 2 trebles. I got a stitch marker around there so I know where when I've gone all the way around, and I'm gonna put 1 treble in each of the 2 trebles that are there. And now because this is a crossing point idea, we're gonna chain 4 to get ourselves back down. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and what we have to do is that we have to slip stitch into the first one of the chain. Don't go into a gapping space because that will not be proper. So go right into the first chain that you run into for your slip stitch, and then that'll keep it stable. So I'm just gonna rotate the project like a steering wheel, and I'm going to chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now the next 2 chains that are available to you are each gonna be a treble. So the reason why you're going into a chain and not a space is that the chain forces the stitch to sit exactly where it's supposed to. If you go right into a space, these could bunch up and then not look as good, and you might have excessive gaps in your work. So once you have your 2 in there, you're going to slip stitch to the chain prior to the trebles that you see. So go right into a chain. It's the first one before the trebles, and then you move up. So chaining up 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you put in a treble in each of the next 2. So you're at the crossing point once again. So the crossing point gets further and further apart as you're growing out, so there will be more sections in between the crossing points that you see here. So you're gonna chain 4 to come back down. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then find the next chain that's available to you, and that's where you're gonna slip stitch, and then you're gonna turn your project like a steering wheel. So turn it and chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're going to treble into the next 2 chains. Okay, and so once you get that done, you slip it to the first chain prior to the 2 trebles. You get used to seeing it if you're having trouble with it now. So now you're gonna chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 treble in each of the next 2. So I'm gonna speed up a little bit because it's exactly the same step going all the way around, and then once you get that done, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch to the next chain. So go right into the chain itself, not to the space, and then turn your work, chain up 4, and then 2 trebles into the next 2 chains. Sorry, 1 treble into the next 2 chains. And then slip stitch to the next chain spot there, and then chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and treble into the next 2. Okay, chain 4 to come back down. Go into the next chain that's available to you, slip stitch it, and then turn, and you can see we're almost back around because we can see the stitch marker is in. So we're gonna chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just next 2 are trebles, and then that's it. You've gone all the way around and you slip stitch it back to where you had started, right here. And you see the problem here is that you are not ready to go for the next round. You're in the wrong spot. So let me just slip stitch that and let's take a look. So let's put it out. So you can see that we've stopped right here, so we have to get ourselves back to the top of here. So how do we do that? So it's just gonna be the same every time. So we're just gonna slip stitch our way up that chain, and you're going to stop on the one prior to the treble. Right there. You see that? So then you go again. So you chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then treble into the next 2 trebles. And you keep working your way around this project and you get it to the size that you want to, and the colors will change on its own. So once that's done, you can see there's nothing to attach to, so you have to chain 4 to come back down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch to the next available chain to you, and then chain up. So turn your project, chain up 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can see that there's more stairways now on the way to get to the other side. So 1 treble into the next 2 chains, and then slip stitch to the top of the next section here, and then keep moving like that. So then chain 4 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 treble, or 1 treble into the next 2. So you can see it's just the crossroads that you have extra steps to do, and then when you're in between the crossroads of this, it gets easier. So you have your 2 in there, slip stitch, and now you can see you're on a crossroad because there's nothing more to, you have to build up, right? You can see that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 treble into the next 2. And then come back down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back down. So that's all this blanket is. It's just a matter of going around in circles and just being able to identify your edges as you go. And so you're gonna just work your way out and then come all the way back. This here, once you get used to seeing where you need to end, you can take that out at any time, and you'll end up right back here in this particular space right here, and then you're gonna chain up again through the chain and then begin again all the way in the revolutions. So this is how to do the stacking blocks crochet blanket. We've done this before, and this is a really neat idea. Now you're gonna see that it's very spacey, but once you get this idea done, and let me pull out my other example here, it looks absolutely just quite fabulous when you look at it from a distance, and it's a great accessory and all of that jazz. And because the colors are changing on its own per the yarn, you end up with a really amazing creative particular project in order to play with. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Michaels.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. There is no borders with this, and so once you're done, just stop and then you're good to go and display in your home. Have a great day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.